sun had just begun to set, casting an amber glow over Narayana Swamy's vast farmland. He sat on the wooden rocking chair in his veranda, gazing at the horizon, lost in thought. The cool evening breeze rustled through the trees, carrying with it the scent of fresh earth and blooming jasmine. A small framed photograph rested beside him, a picture of himself holding his son Madhusudan when he was just a boy. He gently ran his fingers over the image, his mind wandering to a past filled with both joy and sorrow. His wife had passed away the very night she had given birth to their only child. In her absence, Swamy had dedicated himself entirely to raising Madhu. He had been both a father and a mother, ensuring his son had everything he needed. Every decision he made was for the boy's future, shaping him into an intelligent and hardworking man he had become. His loyal assistant Manikanta had supported him in nurturing. Madhu had excelled in his studies, and 5 years ago he had received an opportunity to work in the United States. It was a proud moment, but also a painful one. A part of Swamy had felt left behind. Madhu, a devoted son, called his father every week, spending half an hour checking on his health with genuine warmth. Their conversations often revolved around farming in the village and other familiar topics. His last visit had been 3 years ago for his wedding held at the family farmhouse. Now, as a father himself, he was blessed with a baby boy, a year-old whom Swamy had never met in person. Despite Madhu's repeated invitations for his father to visit him in the United States, Swamy had always declined. For the past few months, Madhu's calls had become infrequent. Whenever Swamy asked him to visit, the response was always the same: work pressure. A month ago, Swamy had made a humble request: at least visit me for my 60th birthday. I plan to host a lunch for everyone who has worked with me. Madhu had promised to try, but 2 days ago he had called to say he was too busy at work. Narayana Swamy had masked his disappointment, but after hanging up, he had spoken to Manikanta, his loyal assistant. "Will God ever answer my prayers?" he had asked softly. Manikanta had smiled. "Anna, God listens to true prayers. He will answer yours too." Now, on the eve of his 60th birthday, Swamy sat in silence, gazing at the entrance of his house. He knew he would have to face the questions from relatives about his son's absence. Yet, deep within, a small ray of hope flickered, the longing to see them just once. The morning of his 60th birthday, Swamy woke up before the dawn, as was his habit. The house smelled of fresh flowers and incense. Manikanta had already decorated the small temple, and the farm workers had gathered outside waiting for the puja to begin. Swamy lit the lamp carefully, placing flowers around the idol. He murmured a silent prayer, not for himself, but for his son's and his family's well-being. As he finished arranging the flowers, he turned to Manikanta. "Shall we start?" Manikanta, standing near the kitchen, hesitated before coming and saying, "Anna, give me 10 more minutes. I need to prepare prasadam for God." Swamy nodded, though he found it very unusual. Manikanta had never delayed the morning ritual before. He settled back into his chair, his eyes unconsciously drifting towards the doorway. A flicker of expectation surfaced in his heart, though he quickly brushed it away. Just as he was about to give up, he heard footsteps. A familiar voice called out softly, "Appa?" Swamy looked up. Standing at the entrance was Madhu, holding his 1-year-old son in his arms. His wife stood beside him, tears in her eyes. For a moment, Swamy just stared, his mind refusing to believe what his heart had longed for. Then slowly, his lips curved into a smile. A deep, contented sigh left his chest as he extended his hands. Madhu stepped forward and placed his son in his father's arms. The child's tiny fingers grasped Swamy's hand, and at that moment, everything else faded. The years of distance, the missed moments, the unspoken words. Swamy looked at Madhu, his voice trembling. "You came." Madhu knelt beside him, touching his father's feet with reverence. "Bless me, Appa." Swamy's hands rested on his son's head, his voice thick with emotion. "Be happy, my son." Madhu joined his father in the puja, carefully following every ritual. He placed flowers before the idol, helped his father light the lamp, and bowed his head in silent prayer. For the first time in years, Swamy felt at peace. His son was beside him, offering prayers in the very home where he had been raised. After the puja, as planned, Swamy distributed gifts to the farm workers. Madhu too interacted with them, recalling familiar faces and moments from his childhood. Later in the evening, as the golden hues of sunset bathed the fields, Swamy and Madhu sat on the veranda sipping coffee. The silence between them was comfortable, filled with unspoken understanding. After a moment, Madhu took a deep breath. "Appa, I need to tell you something." Swamy turned to him, sensing the weight behind his words. Madhu met his father's eyes and smiled softly. "For the past 6 months, I wasn't just busy with work. I was winding up everything in the United States. I resigned from my job, sold our house there, and arranged everything to move back to India. That's why I couldn't talk much. I wanted to give a surprise on your birthday, and I wanted to come back for good." Swamy's fingers tightened around the armrest of his chair. His throat felt dry. "You mean?" Madhu nodded. "I have earned enough, Appa. More than we need. Now, I want to raise my son here on this land just like you raised me. I don't want him to grow up far away from family, from our traditions. I want him to learn the values you taught me." For a long moment, Swamy said nothing. His eyes glistened, his heart too full to speak. He had spent years praying for just a little more time with his son, and now he had been given much more than he had ever hoped for. Madhu placed a reassuring hand on his father's. "I'm home, Appa. I won't leave again." That night, as a cool breeze rustled through the trees, Swamy sat in his wooden rocking chair on the veranda, gently swaying. His grandson nestled beside him, resting his tiny head on his lap, his small fingers patting his grandfather's hand in innocent affection. A few steps away, Madhu and his wife watched the scene in silence. A lifetime of waiting, of longing, had finally led to this moment. He looked up at his son. His voice was soft but steady. "This is all I ever wanted." Madhu smiled, his heart full. Inside, the puja lamp flickered gently, casting a warm glow. Finally, the silent prayer is answered through the homecoming that had finally brought a family back together.